Hello, language learners. Welcome to 15 Minutes to Better English, the podcast that shows you how just 15 minutes of daily practice can transform your English skills. I'm Jack, and today I'm joined by my colleague, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah, and I'm really excited to talk about how to make the most of short, consistent study sessions. You know, a lot of people think they need hours each day to improve their English, but that's simply not true.
Absolutely right, Sarah. Consistency beats intensity every single time when it comes to language learning. So today we're breaking down how anyone can significantly improve their English with just 15 minutes of focused practice daily.
I love this approach because it's something anyone can fit into their schedule, no matter how busy they are. Jack, why don't we start by explaining why 15 minutes works so well psychologically?
Great idea. The 15-minute approach works because it hits that sweet spot of being long enough to make progress, but short enough not to overwhelm you. Our brains maintain peak focus for limited periods anyway, so these short sessions actually maximize effective learning time.
Exactly. And when something takes just 15 minutes, you're much more likely to stick with it long term. No excuses about not having enough time. Plus, you avoid the mental fatigue that comes with longer study sessions.
Sarah, let's break down some specific activities people can fit into their 15-minute sessions. What would you recommend for listening practice?
For listening, I suggest picking a 3 to 5 minute podcast clip or YouTube video in English. First, listen once all the way through. Then listen again, pausing to write down unfamiliar words. Use your remaining time to look up those words and listen one final time with better understanding.
That's brilliant. And for speaking practice, try the shadow technique. Play a 2-minute clip from a native speaker and attempt to speak along with them, mimicking their pronunciation and intonation. Record yourself doing this, then compare your version to the original. It's amazing how quickly this improves your natural flow.
I love that technique. For reading skills, I recommend the intensive reading approach. Rather than trying to get through lots of pages, take just one paragraph from an English article or book. Read it carefully, understand every word, and even try rewriting it in your own words. Quality over quantity.
And don't forget vocabulary building. My favorite 15-minute vocabulary hack is to choose just 5 to 7 new words that are related to each other. Maybe they're all business terms or cooking vocabulary or emotions. Create flashcards with the word, pronunciation, definition, and example sentence. Then practice using them in your own original sentences.
That contextual learning is so important. Now, let's talk about how to structure these 15-minute sessions throughout the week for maximum benefit.
I recommend mixing skills but maintaining themes. For instance, Monday might be vocabulary day, focusing on business terms. Tuesday could be listening practice, using business conversations. And Wednesday might be speaking practice where you use those business terms in your own sentences.
That's a fantastic approach. Cycling through different skills while keeping a consistent theme helps reinforce the material. And weekend sessions could be more fun. Maybe watching a favorite show in English with subtitles or having a conversation exchange with a language partner.
Exactly. And speaking of fun, let's address the importance of making these 15 minutes enjoyable. If you hate what you're doing, you won't stick with it long term.
Absolutely. Choose materials that genuinely interest you. If you love cooking, use recipes and cooking videos in English. If you're into sports, follow English language commentary. Your 15 minutes should be something you look forward to.
Another crucial tip is tracking your progress. Keep a simple language journal where you note what you studied each day and any new words or phrases you learned. Looking back after a month is incredibly motivating when you see how much you've accomplished.
I also recommend the 1% better mindset. Don't expect fluency overnight. Just aim to be 1% better each day. Those small improvements compound dramatically over time.
That's such an important point, Sarah. Language learning isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And speaking of consistency, how can listeners make sure they actually stick to their 15-minute commitment?
Great question. I recommend linking your English practice to an existing habit. Maybe right after your morning coffee or just before dinner. This habit stacking makes it much more likely you'll remember to do it every day.
And use the don't break the chain method. Put a calendar somewhere visible and mark an X for each day you complete your 15 minutes. After a few days, you'll have a chain going that you won't want to break.
Another thing that helps is having accountability. Tell a friend about your goal, join an online language community, or find a study buddy who's also doing the 15-minute method. Knowing someone will check in on your progress is incredibly motivating.
Let's also address a common question. Is 15 minutes really enough to see improvement? What would you say to skeptics, Sarah?
That's a fair question. I'd say two things. First, 15 minutes daily adds up to over 90 hours of practice per year. That's significant. And second, consistency rewires your brain more effectively than occasional cram sessions. You'll definitely see progress if you stick with it.
I completely agree. And remember, on days when you have more time and energy, you can always extend your session. But having that 15-minute minimum ensures you never skip practice entirely.
Exactly. And let's wrap up with some encouragement for beginners. What would you say to someone who's just starting out with English, Jack?
I'd say this. Everyone who speaks English fluently today started exactly where you are now. The only difference between them and people who never improved is consistency. Your 15 minutes today, tomorrow, and the next day will compound into remarkable progress over time.
That's so true. And remember that language learning isn't linear. Some days you'll feel like you're making huge strides, and other days might feel frustrating. That's completely normal. Just keep showing up for your 15 minutes.
Well said, Sarah. So to all our listeners, we challenge you to try the 15-minute method for the next 30 days. We're confident you'll be amazed by how much your English improves.
Absolutely. And we'd love to hear about your experiences. What worked for you? What challenges did you face? How did your English improve? Share your journey with us.
That's all for today's episode of 15 Minutes to Better English. Remember, small, consistent efforts lead to remarkable results. I'm Jack.
And I'm Sarah. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Until next time, happy learning.